If you are a marketer, most probably you open Google Analytics 4 before a meeting and spend more time finding a specific report than actually looking at the data inside the report. Not because the data isn't there, it's because Google Analytics 4 doesn't think like a marketer. That's why I'm recording this video. In less than 5 minutes, I'll show you how to customize your Google Analytics 4 reports entirely. Open your Google Analytics 4 property and then hit Reports. Within the reports section, there are a couple of sections in here, a couple of reports that we can modify, and the ones that I'm mainly referring to. So for example, when we click on the drive sales option, we will set these couple of reports like e-commerce purchases, promotions, purchase journey, and more. So to modify these, all what we need to do is clicking the library option at the bottom. Once we do that, we will find all the reports inside this section. And if we want to modify any of these reports, we just need to modify what's in here. So for example, the drive sales section and the reports underneath it lives inside the business objectives section. So you will find it over here. If you click on this option right here and click edit, you'll be able to remove any of these reports and add any of the reports that you already have in the property. But for now, let's go back and see what we can actually do about these reports. Now, let's say we want to modify any of the existing reports. So for example, let's say we want to modify the e-commerce purchases report. All what you need to do is just type in this report name over here, and then click on it. Then you can just modify it as needed. Since this is a dummy property, there is no much data in here, but what you can do is basically removing or adding a metric. So for example, let's say I want to include another metric over here, like sessions. I can add it and then hit apply. Once I do that, the metric will be added. Similarly, we can add any dimension. We can also add a filter over here. So for example, let's say that we want to include users who are from the US. You can select region, exactly matches. Then you can just select the region that you want to include. We can also show more charts in here. So for example, here we can show this scatter chart. So if we click on this eye icon, it will be visible in here. And if you click on the chart, you can actually change it to be a line chart or a bar chart. Any chart from here, you can just basically select it and hit apply, and the data should reflect based on your selection. And once you're done, you just need to click save. And if you selected this option, save changes to current report, it will be saved and applied to the existing report. But if you clicked on the save as new report, it would basically create a new report and you will have to give it a new name. When we go back to the library section, we will find the report created over here with the name that we have chosen. But let's say we want to create a report from scratch. So what you can do is clicking on this create new report button and then choose if it's an overview or detailed. So let's start with an overview report. Once we click on this, we can just add several cards to the section like active users by age, active users by screen type. You can also sort the chart type based on a topic or based on a type. So for example, when you select sort by a topic, it will show you the app cards, e-commerce, and then general and lead generation. So what you can do is basically selecting what you want to include in here and hit add cards, and the cards that you have selected will be added in here. If you want to save this report in a similar way to what we have just done, you'll just hit save and you will name it a name. So let's do overview custom report. Hit save. Now let's create a detailed report. So let's go back and then select the detailed option. You can start from like a blank page, or you can just have a template over here, which I personally prefer. So let's say we want to do like a landing page report. So we can just use the landing page report option, and then we can then add dimensions that we want. Like the landing page, you can also add any of the available dimensions like currency, transaction ID, and anything else that you want and that is compatible. You can notice the compatible dimension would be clickable like these ones, but for the dimensions that are not clickable like campaign ID, these are not compatible with the report and we cannot use them. So let's just use the one that we have selected. And then let's say we want to include another metric like event count. So let's select event count and hit apply. We can also set a filter for this report over here, and we can also include a summary card where you can just select a dimension and metric. So for example, let's do landing page, and then let's do sessions. And for visualization, we can select whatever we want. So we can select this and then hit apply. Once we do that, we will have our session by landing page summary card, and it will be added to the home page automatically without doing anything. We can now save the report. Give it a name and save. Let's go back. Now, let's modify the existing reports and add the new one to a new collection. So what you can do is adding the reports that you have just created into the collection from the existing one, or you can just create a new collection so it's added underneath or above the existing one. So let's actually create a new collection, and let's choose the blank option. Let's give it a name. So I'm gonna name it with my name, and for the topic, let's do Ahmed's custom report. This is just an example. Hit apply. And now let's do the reports that we have just created over here. So I have these two detailed reports. So I'm just gonna drag them and drop them over here. And for the overview report, let's select the one that we have created. And let's hit save, and then let's go back. We can see now that the collection have been created, but it's not published yet. So we need to publish it. So just click on these three dots and hit publish. And now it is published. So let's refresh. And actually without refreshing, we can actually see the collection have been created over here. And when I click on any of these reports, they will just start working out of the box. So we can just start using them instead of using the other reports that are by default built in GA4. If you want to clean the existing reports and only keep the ones that you create, you can also come back here to the library section, and then within each collection you can just hit unpublish and it will automatically be disappeared from here. So let me do the same, and now I only had these two collections. If you're not confident about your analytics and tracking knowledge, especially when someone asks you to create a specific report using Google Analytics 4, or even testing your Facebook tracking, or creating a custom event for Google Analytics 4, or a custom dimension or metric, I highly recommend taking my analytics confidence blueprint, where I teach you how to use Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, Shopify tracking, consent setup, server-side tracking, and you get direct access to me. You get 1 hour weekly with me. Plus to that, you get access to my web analytics community, where you can just post about any tracking issue or anything regarding marketing analytics, and I'll personally jump in and help. Join over than 50 marketers, analysts, and business owners trying to making sense of their analytics again. If this sounds good, I'll leave the link to my web analytics community in the description. Feel free to check it out or reach out to me if you have any questions. If you find this helpful, I would really appreciate it if you can give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a colleague that might find it helpful, and drop a comment on what other topics I should be discussing in the future. And yeah, see you in the next video.